Hey everybody, John here from the Esports Department doing today's breakdown of the LCS. We had an interesting little slate on the LCS last night with Cloud9 just absolutely demolishing CLG as might have been expected, and then GGS getting a nice win over 100 Thieves where the field was not quite where I thought they'd be. I thought Golden Guardians ownership would be a little bit higher given what they did for your lineups, but they were pretty much around the same or maybe even a little bit lower than 100 Thieves. So did win the 333 in that one. Almost won the 333 this morning. Needed Sandbox to take like one extra Baron or a couple extra turrets, and I would have won the 333 this morning as well. So now we're moving into the LEC and the LCS for this video. We got Team Liquid at minus 450. They are 4-2 on the season, playing against Immortals, who is plus 285 and 1-5 on the season. Obviously, Immortals is using their Academy roster now. They have been on the bloodier side since the Academy roster came in. They are playing against Team Liquid, though, who you can tell from the kill per win, death per loss, has not been a very aggressive and bloody team this season. 13-10 to the 16 and 17.8 for Immortals. It is likely to ramp up a little bit because Immortals is playing the Academy roster. I wouldn't expect the 13 like KPW to be an absolute for Team Liquid. Looking at the stats, I mean, this is just another one of those I don't go too deep on because they just crush them at every stat. I mean, Team Liquid absolutely crushes them. Their first blood, first turret, and the dragon percentage are both positive. The gold differential of 15 is massively positive versus the negative 1851 of Immortals. So there's just not a lot else to say about this matchup. Liquid probably on the lower scoring end of the favorites for this day, though. We'll see when we get over to the numbers for sure, but it doesn't feel like they're in like the best spot of some of the favorites today. Next up, TSM against Golden Guardians. This is what I wanted to really look at because it's kind of interesting statistically. TSM is minus 195 and 4-2 on the season, up against Golden Guardians, who is plus 140 and 3-4 on the season. So the gold per minute, 1787 to 1723, so a little bit of an advantage for TSM, 60-something points, which is valuable. Per minute gold differential, 82 to negative 73, so big there. First blood, first turret, 6783 to 5067, so advantage to TSM, but those are pretty impressive numbers from a 3-4 team in Golden Guardians. Gold differential at 15 minutes, 302 to 1177. So Golden Guardians is actually significantly better at 15 minutes than TSM is. And we've kind of seen that from Golden Guardians. They were one of the teams that I definitely pegged early on as having been underperforming, similar to like XL in the LEC. Underperforming what their stats say they should do, and just what the eye test says. Like Golden Guardians seems like a pretty good team. Their dragon percentage as well, 54%, 60 for TSM, but keep in mind TSM is 4-2, Golden Guardians is 3-4. And their dragon percentage is pretty close to where TSM's at, so very good sign there. TSM is the leader of the league in kill per win, death per loss, I believe, 18.2 and 20 deaths per loss, to Golden Guardians 14.3 and 15.5. This still is a little on the higher side for the LCS, the 15.5 death per loss. This makes this matchup really intriguing to me on both sides. TSM, definitely one of the bloodier teams in the league so far. Golden Guardians, a team that doesn't mind scrapping and skirmishing. I think both sides of this matchup are playable. I think it's one you want to target pretty highly. Both sides can definitely win this match. Don't count Golden Guardians out of this either. They can get a gold lead on TSM, and we've seen TSM struggle in the past against teams that get gold leads on them early. Golden Guardians can definitely do that. They're only a plus 140 underdog for a reason. So I think Golden Guardians very playable on this slate. If you're playing a different underdog or something, TSM makes a great favorite to pair with them. Really high expectations from TSM. So this is a super high target matchup for me. Next up, 100 Thieves. They are minus 200, 1-6 on the season, playing against Dignitas, plus 145, 0-6 on the season. I have a note down here. Oh, I don't have the KPW. Oh, they're not applicable. I just didn't see it because it's not applicable. Okay, because they haven't won yet. I put this note here to remind me to tell you guys Dignitas is playing some different people this week. They have Phoenix and Dardoch coming up from Academy. Dignitas has not been a very bloody team so far, but I would expect that to change somewhat with these guys coming in. Lorlo in the top lane again still. Now they've got Phoenix and Dardoch. And Johnson and Afromu are more on the scrappier side. It's more Acadian and Froggen that I thought were the people that were kind of keeping the game lower scoring. So I would expect Dignitas to be bloodier than usual. And also, I think plus 145 might be a little incorrect. I think Dignitas has a pretty decent shot in this matchup. 100 Thieves did not look too good yesterday against CLG. Oh, sorry, not CLG. Golden Guardians. They did not look very good yesterday against Golden Guardians. And Phoenix and Dardoch do provide some early pressure they might be able to take care of. I mean, they've been playing in Academy against Poom and Contracts, and I would actually lean towards Dignitas on this matchup. I think it's pretty close, but I would lean towards Dignitas. Looking at the stats, these are a huge grain of salt stats because 100 Thieves lineup has changed, and so has Dignitas's. So it's hard for us to really take any of this to mean too much, but just to look at them. 1685 to 1615, so advantage to 100 Thieves. Both teams massively negative in gold differential per minute, but an advantage to 100 Thieves. 3350 to 5016, so first blood more likely to go to Dignitas, first tower more likely to go to 100 Thieves. Gold differential at 15, both very bad, but advantage to 100 Thieves. And then Dragon Control 35 to 49, so advantage again to 100 Thieves. Kill per win, death per loss. High death per loss for 100 Thieves, very low kill per win, very low death per loss for Dig. But like I said, I would mostly throw out the stats with this matchup. We're dealing with a lot of Academy players, and it's not guaranteed to ramp up the aggression in the game. I mean, a lot of these guys have been on the stage. It's not like Dardoch and Phoenix haven't played matches in the LCS and Contracts. I mean, all those guys have been here before. But it is likely, I think, to ramp up the aggression a little bit. It seems like a decent match to target on either side for me. I'm probably going to have a decent amount of Dig. I'll definitely hedge with some 100 Thieves. I think this matchup could get bloody with these roster changes, and I think Dignitas is a super live underdog. Last matchup of the day, EG minus 145. They are 4-2 on the season against FlyQuest. They are plus 105 and 4-2 on the season. So this is a nice little battle here. This one's one I'm really excited for just as a fan. Gold per minute, 1776 for EG, 1833 for FlyQuest, so big advantage for FlyQuest there. Gold differential per minute, dead even at plus 112. First blood, first turret, very even 50-50 for EG. FlyQuest leaning more towards the first blood with 6733, so first turret edge to EG, first blood advantage to FlyQuest. The gold differentials at 15 minutes tell a story. EG is definitely a get ahead and win team. FlyQuest is a team fight you in the mid game team. So gold difference at 15 minutes, advantage to Evil Geniuses by a lot. And Dragon Control pretty close, 52 to 57. So far this season, EG not getting a lot out of their wins, but I think they are a team that's going to end up being a little bloodier in their wins than they've shown so far. So I would lean towards this being a little low. FlyQuest, one of the bloodier teams in the league, 18.7 and 15. So this also feels like a high target matchup. So for me, looking back at, and I think FlyQuest is a super live dog as well, by the way. Obviously, the gold per minute stats lean towards them. That's our number one indicator in our model of who's going to win a match is gold per minute, and FlyQuest is significantly ahead there. Looking back to these other matches, I think the Immortals TL one feels like the standout fade match, especially from the favorite side. Like, I think Team Liquid's probably the standout fade for GPPs. TSM Golden Guardians, the 100 Thieves Dignitas, I think 100 Thieves is a reasonable fade, but Dignitas feels very live to me as an underdog. And this EG FlyQuest matchup also feels like a really high priority target. So some good matchups, different places you can target. Ownership should be really spread. Let's think about ownership. FlyQuest versus EG, Dig versus 100 Thieves, TL and Immortals, TSM and Golden Guardians. So, looking at the Vegas odds, Team Liquid might end up being a little bit heavier owned just because of their Vegas odds, but I think people are going to recognize that TSM and Golden Guardians is a pretty bloody game. Let me look at the pricing. TSM's the most expensive. Team Liquid's pretty cheap given that they're the biggest odds-on favorite on the slate. 7,000 in the jungle, I guess, but they're still cheaper than some of these other teams. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see Team Liquid be the highest owned team. Just because they're one of the cheapest favorites and they have the biggest Vegas odds. I feel like Team Liquid is definitely going to get a lot of ownership. Let's actually just do it. I think it's going to be Team Liquid, which is a bold call. When I see that combination, people just love to target that combination of big favorite and kind of cheap on DraftKings. So I think it's going to be Team Liquid. Then I'm going to go TSM. Then I'm going to go... It might be 100 Thieves, just because they're playing against... I just don't know if people will want to target them after yesterday. Let's go with EG instead. EG... It's possible that FlyQuest is actually higher than 100 Thieves. I don't think people will want to target the 100 Thieves after yesterday. They kind of should be up there, but I don't think people will really want to target them. Then I could see Dignitas being up here. Golden Guardians against TSM, and then I think Immortals probably comes in the last spot. If I was just taking a shot at it. It's possible that this area feels like it could be wrong to me. The middle of the table always seems to be the hardest to do. I think Golden Guardians and Immortals probably towards the bottom. Golden Guardians should have really good leverage. People are not going to want to take them against TSM, and I think they have a very reasonable chance to win that matchup. You kind of saw from the stats, I really think they have a really clear path to victory, so Golden Guardians feels like a team I'm probably going to target in some GPPs. FlyQuest as well. Yeah, this feels like it could be pretty accurate. Team Liquid, I don't think they're a good target, but this is one of those slates where I just feel like they're going to be targeted because of that combination of Vegas odds and being cheaper than the other favorites. Probably lets you improve some lineup setups. Let me see. Let's see if people are going to want to target FlyQuest, so let's see what happens when you do FlyQuest with TSM. You get a carry captain, but it's... Let's see, hold on. Get a carry captain from FlyQuest. What if you do FlyQuest with TL? You get an 80 carry captain. TSM could bridge it. I'm going to stick with Team Liquid and TSM being the top two and in this order, but we'll see. It's possible TSM would be higher. I do think those will be the highest two owned teams for sure. I'm going to lean with TL being the highest. Looking at where we can get our points from the favorites. TSM projecting the highest there, followed by 100 Thieves. Team Liquid in third, kind of what I expected. Kumo, I think, just generally projects kind of low. TSM the highest in the jungle, followed by Team Liquid. Evil Genius is coming third there, 100 Thieves last. Evil Genius is on the top in mid, so Jizuke projecting better than his teammates, and then TSM shows up next. TSM just a high priority target, I think. 100 Thieves and Team Liquid last. At 80 carry, it's TSM. Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, 100 Thieves coming last. So we're just seeing the general trend. 100 Thieves generally showing up last even when they win. I do think that might be a little bit of an under projection, like I said, because we're looking at a different roster for these teams. But that's where they show up. And then Team Liquid generally in the third range more often than not. So TSM and Evil Geniuses kind of showing up as the generally higher projected, or TSM, I guess Evil Geniuses shows up fourth, third, first, second, third, fourth, and third. So they're all actually all over the shop. Everything from first to last based on position, which is kind of interesting. But TSM definitely the top target as far as potential scoring goes. Let's look at the underdogs. Oh, geez, man, every time these days. So from the underdogs, FlyQuest showing up big, Golden Guardians in second. I actually would have expected Golden Guardians to be higher. I wonder if they will in some of these other positions here. Dig and Immortals at the bottom. We've talked about it enough, but those dig numbers might be a little bit low. FlyQuest in the jungle, followed by Dig, then Golden Guardians and Immortals. So Golden Guardians not projecting super well, third mostly. FlyQuest mostly showing off as the high expectation team. And it looks like that's pretty much the case. Pretty much Fly, Dig, GG, and even if Immortals win, they don't project them to do too well, which makes sense to me. They should do well if they win, because they're beating a favorite, which tends to lean towards higher scoring games. The games drag out a little bit longer, the fights are a little closer, more kills get added up. So they'll probably do pretty well if they win. Definitely be optimal if they're like the only underdog that wins. Looking at cash lineups, kind of Team Liquid is just so safe, and they have some upside as well, so I think avoiding them would be a bad play. TSM and Team Liquid probably makes the most sense to me. They've got a support captain 3-3 with 3 TSM players at 204.7. And those are really the two teams you kind of have to target. I wouldn't really want to go any other direction. I wonder, is there a way to get 4 TSM that's acceptable? No, you're not going to be able to get an upgrade there. It's only 200 more to go from tactical to double lift. It feels like there has to be a way to get 4 TSM if you just do the right people. Only 400 more there. That leaves you 5,000. And the TL team slot is 6,000. Jesus. So you'd have to save 1,000. Poor JJ is actually more expensive than Biofrost, which I didn't realize. Or, yeah. So we actually want Biofrost captain. Poor JJ here. Leaves you 5,100, but the team slot for TL is so expensive. It's probably what's forcing you into the 3-3 here. You'd have to save. Yeah, you just can't quite do it. Like, you could put Impact here and you're going to have 5,900 left over for team, but Team Liquid's a 6,000 team slot, so you're just short. Of course, the optimizer's smarter than me, as usual. I always am like, there's got to be a way, and there just never is, because the optimizer and the projections know what they're doing. Yep, it goes with the 3-3. It makes sense, given that you can't really get the 4 TSM. Yeah, that makes sense. And 202.1 is a good projection, too. These are some teams that have some upside today, and Team Liquid's very, very safe. The thing that you could do is, I think that Team Liquid is safer. So if you wanted, you could switch, say, double lift to tactical and play the 4 Team Liquid with Team Solo mid-team. It leaves 600 on the table. It projects a little bit lower, but it is a little bit safer, I think, having 4 Team Liquid, because I think they win significantly more often than TSM, even though TSM is higher scoring. So that's your battle today, I think, is do you want to go for the extra level of safety with 4 Team Liquid, or would you rather go for a little bit of ceiling with the 3-3? I think for me it's probably the 3-3. I think TSM's probably going to get the win there. But if you wanted to go for the extra level of safety, I wouldn't hate that. And if you're in heads-ups, the extra level of safety I think is even more valuable there. So versus like double ups, the extra level of safety I think has a lot of value. So in heads ups, I think maybe I would lean more towards the 4 Team Liquid, and then in double ups I might lean more towards the 3-3. So interesting. You could play the 3-mans as well with something like that. 3-3. Interesting little slate. A lot of targeting for TSM. Going to be targeting Dignitas a lot, I think. Going to be targeting Golden Guardians as an underdog. Going to be targeting FlyQuest as an underdog, mixed with some combination of EG, TSM, maybe a little 100 Thieves. I'm probably going to put closer to a fade on this matchup for GPPs. I think I'm going to let that Team Liquid Immortals match kind of go. I'll play maybe a little bit of it, but not a lot. So that's the LCS for us, guys. I will talk to everybody later. Good luck today on the slates, and I'll be back later for the LPL and LCK.